DMCA Takedown. It's a term we hear quite often in online creator spaces such as YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, anywhere where people can upload content they've created. What started as a legal tool to help copyright holders take down online content that contained their copywritten work used in a way that was not approved by the rights holder quickly became a system abused by artists, animators, and other creators to remove content from the internet simply because they don't like it. Before we dive into that, we need to know what the DMCA takedown system is. According to Wikipedia, the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, DMCA, is a 1998 United States copyright law that implements two 1996 treaties of the World Intellectual Property Organization, WIPO. It criminalizes production and dissemination of technology, devices, or services intended to circumvent measures that control access to copyrighted works, commonly known as digital rights management, or DRM. It also criminalizes the act of circumventing an access control, whether or not there is actual infringement of copyright itself. In addition, the DMCA heightens the penalties for copyright infringement on the internet. So we know what the DMCA law is, but what is a DMCA takedown? According to upcouncil.com, a DMCA notice, otherwise known as a DMCA takedown, informs a company, web host, search engine, or internet service provider that they are hosting or linking to material that infringes on a copyright. The party that receives the notice should take down the material in question as soon as possible. If the site owner doesn't comply, the ISP can murder them! Just kidding. Can forcibly remove the content. The idea of a DMCA system is a great idea to protect copyright holders of their intellectual property. However, as with many proposed laws relating to copyright on the internet, such as SOPA in the US and Article 13 in the UK, these laws are written by people who don't really understand the internet, and they leave way too much room for abuse. In theory, a copyright holder would either discover or be informed that their copywritten material is being used without their permission in a way that does not fall under fair use and is considered copyright infringement. So the copyright holder would have the option to file a DMCA takedown to have the infringing content removed from the internet. This is great because you don't just want people uploading your content and claiming it as their own, so this is a great way to prevent that from happening. Because if someone does it, you can just have it removed. However, in practice, literally anyone can file a DMCA claim on anything on the internet and have it removed. Anyone can remove anything. Doesn't matter if they hold the copyright or not. Anyone can file a DMCA takedown on anything. This is where we run into a major problem, especially with artists and animators abusing the system to remove content that they don't like. Typically content that is criticizing them. As a YouTuber who's not only involved in the YouTube community, but the art, animation, and furry communities as well, I've heard many stories and seen many examples of artists and animators abusing the DMCA system to take down videos they don't like. A great example of this is Pkrussl. Of course, you all know how the Pkrussl situation ended up, but at the beginning it mainly revolved around his tracing of other people's art and passing it off as his own. Several people made videos covering this, one of whom was Fran. The video is titled Debunking Pkrussl Speed Paints. And of course it was about debunking Pkrussl proof that he wasn't tracing.
First off, he starts off drawing by zooming in. This isn't even the sketch, keep in mind. This is just the whole drawing. He zooms in so far, and I don't know how anyone can draw straight up line art like this, like without even having the sketch. When you're actually drawing something, you need to see the whole picture to make sure that everything is proportioned correctly. That's already a huge red flag right there. Second thing is, there is some parts where I have slowed down to just see like what's happening here. There's some parts where, you know, the lines just fill in. They just fill in, if you know what I mean. Like for example, this part here where he's drawing the lines for the panties. Those two lines right there, they just fill in automatically. He doesn't even, they go at the same time.
Of course, this showed that Pkrussl proof that he wasn't tracing was proof of absolutely nothing. So how did he respond? By apologizing and moving on? By ignoring it? By ending his practice of tracing? Nope. He illegally abused the DMCA takedown system to have this video taken down. because he didn't like it. This is a post on Fran's community page. And I like the first comment here. That is him basically admitting to tracing, to be honest, LMAO. But this isn't the only person that he did this to. If you follow the situation at all, then you know Nani, my husband, was one of the main people covering the Pkrussl drama. She made a video titled Tracing versus Referencing, in my opinion, in which she didn't even talk about Pkrussl directly. She just made a joke about tracing Pkrussl at the beginning of the video.
Tracing in the bad sense is when you take someone else's art and trace over it, whether it be on paper or a new layer on a paint program. For example, I'm tracing right now, tracing a tracer. Sorry, this video is not about them. I just thought it would be a funny thing to do. Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's literally the only mention of Pkrussl in the entire video. And Pkrussl responded, as you'd imagine, by filing a false DMCA claim to have the video removed. Now, luckily, Nani was able to submit a counter notification here, but this isn't the only video of Nani's for which he illegally filed a false DMCA claim. There was also this video, the Pkrussl update, Dr. Phil, Timberflash, and more, ... It's just a video discussing the situation surrounding him. I don't think the video even showed a single piece of art that he made. So I don't know how copyright could even come into play there, but he filed a DMCA takedown for that video as well. Of course, I have also dealt with many false DMCA takedowns myself. As recently as 10 days ago, as of recording this video, I won a DMCA takedown counterclaim for this video, the same way that I've won every single one of them so far. There's been about 10 of them, because none of them are valid. It's everything I do falls under fair use. Reviewing and criticizing art falls under fair use. I don't know how people don't understand that. We'll get into that in a bit though. So what happened here is there was an artist who was mad about this video that was about how they're mad about closed species. They didn't like what I said about their closed species. So rather than letting it go and being an adult, they take the logical route of breaking the law by abusing the DMCA system to have my video taken down because they didn't like what I said about their closed species. But here's the interesting thing. I still have no idea which artist in this video it even was. And here's why. The way the DMCA takedown system works on YouTube is quite interesting. I don't know the entire process of how it's done because I've never filed one myself before, but having received about 10 DMCA takedowns myself from angry artists who don't understand how the law works, I know a bit about the process. Every time I've received a copyright strike due to a DMCA takedown, I've received no email, no notification, or anything. How you're notified is the next time you refresh the YouTube page or navigate somewhere else on YouTube, this message pops up. Now, it's not this exact message. This is the message that you get when you get a community guideline strike, but it looks very similar to this. I can't show you what a copyright strike looks like because I don't have one actively, and it's difficult to find images online for some reason of what the message looks like. But it looks very similar to this. You have to click I acknowledge, and then you're required to go to YouTube Copyright School before you can use YouTube again. The website navigates you to this video right here. Jesus Christ, if that isn't the most degrading thing you've ever seen in your life. Look at the like to dislike ratio. It really appears like YouTube is trying to mock you with that background music. It's like humiliating almost, is what it is. It's like they have zero respect for their creators. But that comes as a shock to nobody. You're required to watch this video and take a multiple choice test that proves that you understand what the video said before you can continue to YouTube. Whether or not the DMCA takedown is valid. You have to go through this before you can use your account again. Imagine if you had to go through copyright school to file a DMCA takedown in the first place, because a lot of people who do it don't understand how copyright works. It's just the most patronizing thing I've ever seen in my life is YouTube Copyright School. They have comments disabled, of course. But once you've navigated through YouTube Copyright School, you can access your account again. And you can navigate to the channel strikes page, which looks like this. You can view your brand new, shiny channel strike that an artist gave you because you criticized their art. The information that you're shown as to who and why your video was struck down is almost nothing. Of course, I have no active strikes right now, so I can't show you what it looks like on my channel, but this is one that I found on the internet. Who is PUA training? All the strikes that I've had have been equally as vague. If you navigate to the video, the strike shows up the same way that a copyright claim does. Here's an example of a copyright claim on my content. By the way, the claim is also false. It's from the people who made the Fight Like a Girl Minecraft music video. But honestly, the $50 of ad revenue I lost to these Minecraft feminists is not worth the strike I would have received fighting it. But that's not the point. The point is this page looks similar to the copyright strike page. Of course, I don't have an active copyright strike once again, and it's hard to find images of that online for whatever reason, but it looks the same as this. The only information you get about who claimed your video is what they choose to tell you. Like here, the claimant is Viso Music. They don't have to provide their real name. They can use a company name, or they can make up a fake name if they want to. That's why I still don't know who the artist is who filed the DMCA takedown on my closed species video. I still don't know who it is. I will say that every time I've had a copyright strike, there was an email right underneath the claimant. So at least I had that information, but I don't believe that it's required to give that. I think just everyone who struck me down gave it for whatever reason. No phone number, no address, no anything, just a fake name and an email address. But do you wanna know the real kicker? If I submit a counter notification to fight the false illegal DMCA takedown, I have to provide the claimant my full legal name that cannot be a company name, my email address, my physical home address, and a telephone number. Well, the claimant only has to send me their name, and it can be whatever they want to type in. It doesn't have to be their full legal name. It should be obvious why this is a horrible system, because literally anyone can just file a DMCA takedown on any video on YouTube, whether they are in the right or not. And they'll get the YouTuber's home address if the YouTuber files a counter notification, which is the only way to get your video restored if you receive a false DMCA takedown. And you don't have to give any of your personal information to the YouTuber. So basically you can dox any YouTuber you want. Just file a DMCA takedown on their video. Imagine if YouTube required the claimant to give the same personal information that the claimee has to give, the YouTuber has to give. I bet it would vastly cut down on the number of false DMCA takedowns. And they should do it because once you file a DMCA takedown, you're no longer in a YouTube process. At that point, it becomes a legal process through the DMCA system. That's why YouTube requires YouTubers to give all their personal information to fight it, because it is a legal process. But what YouTube doesn't understand is that even filing the DMCA takedown in the first place is the beginning of the legal process. The reason you have to give your personal information is so that the claimant has the information they need to file a lawsuit against you. But as the YouTuber, you should have the information you need to file a lawsuit against their false DMCA claim in the first place. But you don't get that because it's completely rigged in the wrong way on YouTube. So it's basically an anonymous process. You file a DMCA takedown on a video, and then you get the YouTubers, all their personal information, all of it, without having to give them anything. It's so one-sided, and it's very dystopian is what it is. So why would someone do this? The main reason that most people file false DMCA takedowns is to silence criticism or unwanted commentary. Take the case of Nani versus Pkrussl. He abused the DMCA system to forcibly remove videos that criticized him and his actions. He even used false DMCA takedowns as a threat, threatening more of them if Nani didn't stop. Because once you have 3 copyright strikes, which you get 1 every time you get a DMCA takedown, your channel's terminated. So Pkrussl was literally weaponizing DMCA takedowns. The fact that the legal system can be abused this much is really scary, and YouTube really needs to do something about it. Now that being said, there are some heavy consequences for abusing the DMCA takedown system. The first one, which should be the most obvious, is the Streisand effect. When you attempt to silence what someone is saying, it only leads to more people talking about it. Take the case of Fran versus Pkrussl. Fran was attempting to prove that Pkrussl was tracing, and by Pkrussl abusing the DMCA system to have the video taken down, it just made many more people aware of the situation, and it made him look guilty. If he didn't actually trace, why would he need to abuse the legal system to have the video forcibly removed? If he was in the right, he would have just ignored it and moved on. Another consequence to filing a false DMCA takedown is legal repercussions. You might be wondering how it's legal to abuse the system this much, and the answer is it's not legal at all. It's heavily illegal. It's just not policed very well at all. When you file a DMCA takedown, you're no longer playing on the kid-friendly YouTube playground. You are now dealing with federal law. All DMCA takedown requests are filed under penalty of perjury. And if you file a false DMCA takedown, you've just committed perjury, which according to Wikipedia is classified as a felony and could land you in prison for up to 5 years. Like I said, you're no longer playing on YouTube's playground. You are playing with federal law when you file a false DMCA takedown to avoid criticism, and it could literally land you in jail. So think about that the next time you try to file a false DMCA takedown. You should never do that just because you don't like what the YouTuber is saying about you. Many artists, when abusing the DMCA takedown system, do not understand fair use. What many artists do to people like me is they find a video that says things that they don't like, such as, "Your art is bad," or your art could be improved, or your personality is bad, or just something dumb. This makes the artist irrationally angry, as artists tend to get, so they look for any reason at all to file a DMCA takedown, to have the video removed. If the video is similar to what I make, they might notice that while I'm criticizing their art, I'm showing their art on the video. What's going through their mind when they see this is, he used my art in his video without my permission and didn't credit me, so I could use the DMCA system to remove this video because I don't like what he said about my art. But they don't understand fair use. Fair use allows me to use your copywritten material without permission for the purpose of criticism and commentary. It is a common misconception that you need permission to use someone's art or other content for it to fall under fair use. Completely false. You do not need permission to use content as long as the way you use it falls under fair use. Likewise, another common misconception is that you must credit the creator of the content that you're using for it to fall under fair use, and this is also false. You do not need to credit anyone, as long as you're using the content in a way that falls under fair use. You are not legally required to credit anyone for it to fall under fair use. However, that's just legally speaking. Should you credit artists? Most of the time, yes, you should, just to be a good person. But is it legally required? No, it's not legally required as long as the way you're using it falls under fair use. So that is not enough to file a DMCA takedown. It amazes me that people still file false DMCA takedowns on content that falls under fair use, especially after the H3H3 case, where someone sued H3H3 because they used their copyrighted material. And H3H3 ended up winning because the way that they used it fell under fair use. Commentary and criticism was added, making it a transformative experience, which falls under fair use. So we literally have a court precedent that says that fair use is a real thing, but people still choose to abuse the DMCA takedown. Not a single time has anyone filed a DMCA takedown on any of my videos and actually won. I fought every single one of them, and I won every single one of them because I do not abuse copyright the same way that these people do. Everything I do falls under fair use. The fact that people still abuse the DMCA system and still don't understand fair use, it just blows my mind. I just returned from Africa. What you're looking at is some clips that I recorded while there. A full video is going to be released on my second channel, Oh Whoa What's This? If you're interested in that at all, go follow over there. What I do over there is more IRL stuff, getting out of this room, you know, doing stuff in real life. I think it's a lot of fun. You might enjoy it. Go subscribe. Click it right up here to subscribe. There's also a link below. Also, buy my merch. Look at this mug. It says PK. You can buy this and drink out of it. PKRUSSL.com, link down below. If you send me a picture of yourself holding my merch or wearing my merch, I have shirts available as well, I'll include it in my next video. Tag me at PKRUSSL on Twitter to send me those images of you holding or wearing my merch if you decide to buy the merch, and I will include you in one of my videos. And lastly, what are your thoughts on all this DMCA takedown nonsense? Let me know in the comments below. Okay, bye! It's fun to file a DMCA takedown on people who don't deserve it. Yay! It's fun to file a DMCA. It's fun to file a DMCA. You received criticism, but you didn't like what they said. So abuse the legal system. It's fun to file a DMCA.